KGVO Missoula, KGVO FM Frenchtown, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM. Sports Talk tonight and streaming online at newstalk.kgvo.com.
Good evening, city and state, city of Missoula, state of Montana, and around the world. This is Sports Talk Tonight with Gurnsey and Bedard. We are coming from you live from the KGVO studios. If you're around the world, we're streaming on Newstalk.KGVO.com. If you're cruising around town on the AM side of the dial, 1290, on the FM side to 101.5. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Talk Back. Our phone number is 721-1290. Denny?
I think that about covers it, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're right on top of Western Montana Lighting if you want to come down and watch. No.
Yeah.
You can't.
Live studio audience.
You can't do that.
Yeah. I guess we could put a balcony out there, out on that. We're on the second story, but really it's more like the third story because there's a pretty large.
The stairs are tall.
Yeah. There's like, what would you call that? Not a viaduct. There's a pretty big space between us and the Western Montana Lighting people, so it almost creates a third level.
Well, sure. And I suppose their ceilings down there have to be quite tall because they probably got fans spinning around and stuff hanging.
Yeah. And they're very well lit.
Oh, I'm sure.
Beautiful lighting down there.
Great place, that Western Montana Lighting, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Denny, happy belated Father's Day.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you. What a great weekend for sports in general.
Yeah, it was fun.
I got a chance to watch the farce that was the U.S. Open.
It was a farce, but
it was a farce.
All right.
It was about one of the most unjust things I've ever seen to put somebody through, especially in a major tournament.
Yeah.
And then you had the final game of the NBA Finals, which
that was exciting.
Wow, history was made. Yes. First team to be down 3-1 in the finals and come back.
We are genius prognosticators, you and I. We took a circuitous route to get there because we both said Cavaliers in 6. It took them 7, but we got it right.
6 and 7. They both start with the letter S. And once again, for all you LeBron haters out there, say what you may. As far as I'm concerned, the guy whines a little bit, but so do a lot of NBA players. I'm talking about like calls and stuff like that.
Well,
the only thing that you could say bad about LeBron is kind of how he made his shift from Cleveland to Miami the first time. Kind of that whole.
Oh, there was a lot of hard feelings, which I think are all gone now. But
which I think were more. He raised a lot of money for charity, blah blah blah. But I tell you what, if that is not the, he's got to be in this discussion as one of the all-time great players in the NBA.
Sure.
And he is the best in the world right now.
Yeah. So very very exciting. Finally had a game that was close. I mean, the first 6 of them were all double digits.
Mm-hmm.
And, LeBron deserved to be the MVP of the series and put on a remarkable performance. But I'll tell you, they will never forget Kyrie Irving's three-pointer in the final minute of that game.
Boy,
that will be remembered forever.
Hand in the face.
You
can't guard a guy any better.
Curry had great defense on the guy.
Kyrie Irving came to play this series along with LeBron James. LeBron's line, and we say his stats for the final game, 27 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. He averaged for the series 29.7 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 8.9 assists per game, almost a triple-double, and he was your MVP.
On the local scene, I guess the one downside about having to work tonight, you and I, is that we can't be over to the Osprey Stadium, Ogren Park, Allegiance Field, because a lot of your fellow Griz footballers are over there, and we did our co-worker Scott Richmond, our general manager here. He's over there, and he was able to get some interview material. So hopefully we'll be able to play some of that later on in the show. But they're doing a fundraiser for the Missoula Sports Commission. I think if you put up $10 or something, you can go to the autograph and photo op area and stuff like that. But gosh, now I got to try to remember who else we got. Scott had a chance to visit with Colt Anderson, Brock Coyle, Chase Reynolds, so we know they're all there.
Mark Mariani.
Mariani's there. Brian Qualley from the basketball team, I believe, is supposed to be there. Florence singer Tyler Barham, I believe, is there. And a number of other players scheduled to be there, too, along with former head coach Mick Delaney. So a lot of people over at Ogren Park Allegiance Field. And it doesn't start for another hour. So if you people want to go run and watch the ball game tonight, we'll excuse you.
I saw something cool as I was thumbing through Facebook today. There was a picture of of Colt Anderson and Richie Incognito. I don't know if you remember Richie Incognito got in trouble with the Dolphins.
Yes, yeah.
Little kind of hazing or bullying, you would say. But there's a picture of him and Colt standing there, and they're holding these trophies. And they were named off-season best workout guys, Incognito for the offense and Colt Anderson for the defense.
Nice honor.
So Colt busting some tail in the weight room. So pretty cool.
Good stuff.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, they look like they're, I think, well, hopefully we'll hear in one of the interviews. I think they said they get started with their training camps in about maybe a little over a month, somewhere in there, maybe 5 weeks.
Sounds about right.
So
sounds about right.
Yeah, so Osprey baseball tonight. They do have, too bad about Southgate Mall, not able to put on a fireworks show this year. The Osprey will do their low-level fireworks shows. They actually got 4 during the year, but they'll do one this coming Friday night, and then they'll do one on the 1st of July. They can't do one on the 4th of July because they're not in town on the 4th of July. They're on the road at that time, but at least they'll be able to provide some fireworks. And speaking of fireworks, their team could use a little so far this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a struggle. The Osprey are giving up an awful lot of runs, and they're, I think, 1-4 to start the season is what I'm.
Well, you know what? It's I was going to say it's a long season, but it's called short season, so it's not that long.
No, it's actually 2 halves. I mean, you have a half season or the first half season champion, so it's 38 games and 38 games, but.
Almost a quarter and a quarter.
Yeah. But, hey, they're the defending Pioneer League champs, and they got a good manager, and they'll get rolling.
Denny, I had a good weekend. Like I said, we got to watch that sports stuff. My son Cameron had a baseball tournament down in Salmon, Idaho. Hit his first home run over the fence he's ever had. So that was pretty cool. and before I left town, I had to go and do something for me.
Because it was Father's Day weekend.
It was, and I bought myself a new truck. Yeah,
I was looking out the windows.
Yeah,
and I was watching for Coach, and I'm thinking, wow,
who's that stud in that truck?
Coach Selvig has moved it on up. Look at the truck he's driving. It was you.
Oh, it was
you driving the truck. It's a good looking truck.
I tell you what, I went down to Lithia Ford, and Eric down there and Dale hooked me up. Just no pressure. Totally at ease. I still don't know. I had to buy the thing so fast that I didn't even get to see how to work the thing. But I'm going to go down there and do that. But it was really cool.
Well,
really cool. Thank you.
Happy for you.
Hey, in guest studio, sitting right here next to us. We're going to have him on as soon as we get the trivia out of the way. Is head coach Robin Selvig for the Lady Griz. And but before we do that, let's get to that trivia, Denny.
Sure. Sports Talk Tonight trivia at 721-1290. What a prize package we have. This will probably put you in the next income bracket, just so you know, for tax purposes when you file if you are the winner. Of course, we've got our $10 gift certificate from Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers. Whatever you order off that amazing menu, you get to go top it yourself. You go over to those prep tables and just go to work to make it exactly the way you want at Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers, North Reserve. From Brent and the crews at Happy Days Car Wash. You can use this at either Happy Days. They're on Brooks across from the Dairy Queen. They're also on Brooks out by Guest House Inn and Suites. Voted Missoulian Reader Poll favorite car wash again this year. The Works, a gift card for The Works Car Wash. Also from our friends at Sports Clips Haircuts, 'Tis Good to Be a Guy. That's located at 3850 Reserve Street in the Mackenzie River Pizza Cabela's area. All of that over there. It is a ticket for, because it looks like an admission ticket, ticket for a free haircut for a new client. And speaking of the Osprey, speaking of their low-level fireworks show, we have 4 reserve seat tickets to the Osprey game taking on the Helena Brewers on Friday night, July 1st. So that's a week from Friday. Got plenty of time to think about it. They also include, when they do those tickets, you get a certificate that you can redeem for a popcorn and a soda pop, too.
For 4 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got 4 reserve seat tickets. See what I tell you? It pays to win on Sports Talk Tonight trivia. Now all I need is a question. I didn't know. Yes, I did do a question. Well, we started talking about them, Cleveland Cavaliers. Third time was the charm for the Cavs in history-making fashion as they won their first NBA title. It was a rematch of last year against Golden State, and the only other time the Cavs were in the finals was 2007, and they got swept 4-1. 721-1290 if you know. The MVP of that 2000 series was A, Paul Pierce, B, Dwayne Wade, or C, Tony Parker. 721-1290. The Cavs got swept in 2007, and the MVP of that series was A, Paul Pierce, B, Dwayne Wade, or C, Tony Parker. That's 721-1290, Mr. Gurnsey.
Give us a shout, 721-1290, if you know the answer to the trivia. And when we come back, we'll have that winner along with head coach of the Lady Griz, Robin Selvig, when we come back on Sports Talk Tonight.
Missoula.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk Tonight with Gurnsey and Bedard, brought to you in part by Orange Street Food Farm, a locally owned and operated grocery store featuring the freshest fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, and a great beer and wine selection. And by Grizzly Liquor, located downtown next to the Iron Horse. Big sky, big selection, and online at grizzlyliquor.com. Before we get to our in-studio guest, Denny, Coach Robin Selvig, we have ourselves a trivia winner.
You know we do. It is Brian Ronas of Corvallis fame. How you doing there, Brian?
I am doing super now.
Always nice to have you in the Sports Talk Tonight family. We appreciate that. Yeah, that was a virtually irresistible trivia prize package here. The third time the charm for the Cavs, history-making fashion. They won their NBA title rematch of last year against Golden State, but the only other time they were in was 2007. They got swept 4-0. MVP of that 2000 series was A, Paul Pierce, B, Dwayne Wade, or C, Tony Parker. What do you think there, Brian Ronas?
I'm going to go letter C, Parker.
Now, I didn't think about this when I put the question together, but you said it was blatantly obvious.
Well, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the Eastern Conference, so you'd have to play a Western Conference team in the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. And Dwayne Wade and Paul Pierce were both in the East.
Wow.
So it had to be Parker.
You are like Hercule Poirot.
Nice job, Brian. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, well, you know.
You're a lot smarter than me, though. I'm just
Brian.
lucky.
Oh,
I don't know about that.
Let me get to my fact. 6 of the 7 finals games this year, they were double-digit wins. It's interesting that in those 4 wins by, you're right, it was Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs, the total margin was 22 points for those 4 games, for those 4 wins. 2 of them were 9-pointers in San Antonio, and then a 3-point win and a 1-point win in Cleveland. Total of 22 points. Tony Parker led the way, averaging 24.5, and was named MVP. And Brian Ronas got himself an incredible MVP prize package. Do you ever get to go see the Osprey? Do you get to go to ball games from time to time, Brian?
I'm totally new to the area, so I have not.
All right.
So that's awesome.
Well, we picked a good one for you because they're going to put on a fireworks show after the game, but I will get all of that stuff mailed out to you today, okay?
Sweet. Thank you very much,
All
guys.
right. Thank you. Talk to you later. Brian Ronas from Corvallis, Gurns, our latest winner.
Corvallis, I tell you what, the Bitterroot is represented on Sports Talk tonight, Denny. Like no other valley.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We've had visits from Frenchtown and Potomac, but yeah, I would say Bitterroot mostly.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's get to it. Our guests, as always, brought to you by Parkside Credit Union. We like to say yes. Visit their new location next to Applebee's on Highway 93 South. And Parkside Credit Union is bringing you right now live in studio, Coach of the Lady Griz, Robin Selvig. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well, Gurnsey.
Awesome. Welcome once again to Sports Talk Tonight. And it's funny, we're in the off season for basketball, but there really never is an off season, is there?
Kind of really isn't anymore. In particular, we managed to keep busy. Of course, we have summer school going on now, and some of the ladies are here. A couple of the new freshmen are coming in, and we actually can work with kids in the summer a little bit, a limited time, a couple hours a week. So we're around them still, and of course, we had one of our camps last weekend, our team camp, and next Monday we start we call it our overnight camp, where we get kids from around the state and around the area to come stay on campus, and we work with them for 3.5 days.
Yeah, when you say summer school, you mean like you got girls taking classes now?
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting when you hear summer school, it usually throws out a kind of a stigma that you need to get your grades better. You screwed up during the year. But
You're thinking of football.
No.
Are
you talking?
I'm just kidding.
I did have to do that one time. Thanks, Coach.
Touché, Gurns.
But a lot of times athletes do that. Number one, it's tough getting classes sometimes, especially around practices. And to be eligible, if I'm not correct, you have to take 12 credits every semester. Well, if you want to graduate, sometimes you got to take 15, 18. You can get some of those classes out of the way during the summer. I mean, I don't want to say it makes it easier, but it lessens your burden.
Well, no, those things are all true, and we didn't used to have as many ladies go to summer school, but the way it's changed now, none of them are going to get grades up or anything. But when NCAA put in that you can work with them in the summer, so there's a reason. There's lots of programs require their kids all go to summer school. The women's basketball programs,
sure,
just to have them there and work with some. We aren't. Budgeting is a little bit of a problem in that regard now that lots more kids are wanting to go to summer school. So starting, I think it was 2 summers ago and last summer, we've had way more ladies going to summer school, and it really does help. It's hard to get your class schedules exactly right. So if you want to graduate in 4 years in particular, you almost have to have a little summer school work. So
Sure.
So the kids are around usually just for one of the sessions. Some of them take both, and keeps them around here.
Robin, when you say you can work with them a little bit, what do you mean? What are the guidelines there?
Well, we have 2 hours that we can spend on the floor with them. They can condition. They work with our weight and conditioning people.
Wow.
But we have just 2 hours a week for, I believe, it's a total of 8 weeks possible. We won't have all of them there that long. But so we get individual work with them, assistants, have a couple kids down there in the morning, or 3 or 4 kids, and do some individual work with them. So all that has really changed. We do that after the season in the spring, and you start that right away when the kids get to school, and now that's extended into the summer. And kids should have been doing some playing and working out, but the fact that you can have them there and work with them, you feel like, man, we better do that.
Yeah, and I guess it helps. A lot of times you go home, for the summer, you got kids at whatever sport it may be, you go home and they're gone for 2 or 3 months, and they get a job or they eat mom's cooking and what have you, and they come back and it's almost like starting over again. Now you can keep a finger on them, so to speak.
Yeah, you can, and it doesn't work very well in any of the sports, as you know, for someone to come back after 3 months of doing nothing. I mean, all the athletes at the university are pretty busy year-round, staying in shape and doing the things you have to do. I think there's a fine line. I think it can be overdone. I mean, I think and we work hard not to overdo it. I mean, you want kids excited and fresh, and you don't want their bodies worn out, too. So, and I like to believe and feel that we have I want our ladies to be just as much of the regular student population as anybody, and so you try and make it where it's not completely different.
How have you seen the new athletic academic center at the Adams Center benefit your team so far?
Well, first of all, it's a beautiful place, and our academic advisors are right there now. The location is great, and they can get in there on off hours or plan to go over there. And if you need to meet with Jan or Grace, like I said, it's easy accessible. It's a nice place to be in and study. I'm not doing any studying, so I don't spend a lot of time in there. But it's just a great place, and more access for our students to get all the academic help they need, and it's turned out to be a really nice thing.
It's just one more bullet in the chamber, I guess, to entice a student athlete to come to the University of Montana.
Well, yeah,
and locker rooms are next, right?
Yeah, I mean that's right. I mean we've always had the best thing about our places here is we've had lots of people in there watching the kids in our sports. Our facilities haven't been horrible, but the thing that has happened, we basically have the same structure there. Before, we've added 2 or 3 sports since that same one where we were pretty crowded. So the new Champion Center is going to really be nice. Our weight room facility, we've had great weight coaches and conditioning coaches, but we haven't had anything to brag about. It's not that you take recruits through. I mean, you show them, and it's functional. But a lot of places you recruit against, they've got Taj Mahal their locker rooms big
Saunas
and fancy.
and spa.
Well, practically, I think of Gonzaga, on what they've got over there now compared to what they used to. And most kids aren't going to be the only reason they make a decision to go to school, but that certainly is an eye catcher for a lot of kids when they're looking at schools.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot on the show. We've had the football recruiting coordinator Justin Green come in and talk about that. And you're right, but there is something to be said about the bells and whistles. But I guess I think probably what it says to a recruit to your kids is that, hey, we're serious about this. It's a big deal to us, just like it's a big deal to you. And let us show you what it can translate into.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's lots of selling points that everybody tries to sell. We have lots of good things to sell here in all our programs. The new weight room, just for simply the change in size, we're going to have 2 or 3 much more room. I mean, everybody's done a good job of working together, so you got to be almost a magician, all the coaches, of when, if the football team's in, then somebody. And now we're going to have so much more space and time, and all those things are important because our ladies work around an extremely difficult schedule with classes and practice, and it's way tougher than when I went to school, when we were on the quarter system and there weren't as many evening classes and things like that. They just that's basically why we practice at 6, 7 in the morning. Some of these semesters we've done that, and so they need to manage their time, and anything we can do that makes it a little easier for them, I'm all for.
Yeah, reading on Go Griz today, Coach. Coach Robin Selvig, head coach of the Lady Griz, University of Montana, joined us in studio on Sports Talk tonight. Was reading some articles about the schedule and what have you, and a couple of tough non-conference games. So we open up at home with a couple exhibitions and what have you, and then get to go on the road to a tournament in Iowa City.
Yeah, they have not gone there before. Scheduling is getting it just gets tougher every year almost to get everything to work out, but that'll be a good tournament. We've never been there. South Dakota State, who we will play the first game, is really good. I mean, they should have beat Stanford at Stanford last year in the first round, lost by 1. They've been in the NCAA tournament nearly every year. We played them in Cancun the year Mandy and Sonia and Brittany, that was their senior. We lost, I think, by 3 or 4. We had a close one with them. They were an NCAA team that year. So it's a well-established program in the women's basketball. Everybody knows South Dakota State is not some fluky thing. They're really good. So, and Massachusetts in that, who has a good program. Of course, Iowa, the Big 12, if we could end up playing them. So,
how do you get invited to a tournament like that?
Well, you basically there's places online where people are advertising, looking. They have a tournament and they're looking, and sometimes they'll email or call you. And basically, you're just trying to find something that matches your schedule. Like we actually are playing around Robin this year. We didn't fill a tournament. We had to move from that late December time to Thanksgiving because finals week is going over a weekend now. It kind of goofed us up. That's never happened before. So finals are going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We really couldn't run a tournament around that in the middle of finals.
Wow.
So we went to Thanksgiving and we struggled coming up. So we have a round robin, Texas Incarnate and Utah State. We're each going to play each other. We've actually done that before, but it's not going to be the true tournament format. But there's a site we put that out, and people call, and you try and make it work. And I think I was giving us some money. I mean, to go down there, and of course there's no return. So,
right.
But we get 2 games for that, and then our tournament, which we have to come up with some guarantee money to get people to, a lot more than we used to, because now a lot of the big schools they're paying guarantees like the guys do. It isn't near the amount, but if you're a small school in Texas, and you can go drive down the road to A&M and get $15,000. Instead, they're going to do that, and then
sure.
A lot of teams aren't getting home and homes either. It's not a good thing, but anyway, we managed to get. I think it's a pretty good schedule.
That's as far as scheduling. That's probably one of the significant changes, isn't it, from say the 80s and 90s? Because you have always said your entire career, hey, we will go play anybody. If you invite us to come play you, we will come play you, but we'd like you to reciprocate and come here, and that's why we've been fortunate to. I know it hasn't been a lot of teams like that, but the likes of a Tennessee and Stanford and some teams coming there. probably harder to do in this day and age.
A little bit, though. We still, it is because all of them are trying to play not just home games and giving somebody $15,000 to come down the road. So, still able to do that, and I've never played a guarantee game because I think it's really important that we get people back here, and we've been able to do it. But that's why we have a series with Wyoming. They struggle getting home games a little bit, and so would we now. So we have a alternating series. We've had that with Portland, who just dropped out of that one. Seattle, we've started a series with that we're keeping going the second time. And, of course, we used to have Idaho in that series, but then they joined the league. So that was a non-conference one. Boise, of course, they're not in the league now, and that's another team we got to work to get games with. But it manages, and, of course, we aren't getting as many non-conference games now because we now have 12 teams, and we play 18 conference games, so we only need to get 9.
That's a good example, Idaho. You look at the football schedule, and Montana plays some conference opponents every year, but they're non-conference games. There's always a couple of those.
Yeah, I don't
that
know
don't
that
count
they're like that anymore, though.
Can basketball programs do that? For example, could you have tried to schedule Idaho as a non-conference game, or is that frowned upon or against the rules? Or?
Yeah, you really would. It's not frowned upon, but you really don't want to just play teams in your league. I mean,
well, yeah, but you're only playing them once. I mean,
we are this year.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Some
if
of
it was
the teams
a team,
we play twice,
right?
That's not a bad idea. If you only happen to be playing them once, you could go play them as a non-conference.
Yeah,
hadn't really thought of it, but that
weird, but you
could. Well, you got to get games is the main thing. And I tell when we're recruiting that we like to get you around different parts of the country.
Yeah.
We'd like to go to different places. They all want to go to the same place, Cancun or Hawaii. But,
I don't see that.
Part of it is no, I heard about that too. But I said it'll be sunny in Iowa. Bring your.
The seniors. The seniors were giving you some grief.
Should be beautiful there, November 19th and 20th.
Well, next time you go down there, I hear Tom Stage needs an assistant, and trust me, I'm used to carrying bags for people on the road.
All right.
I'm available.
You are doing everything you can to dump me. You're trying. You are desperately trying to get out of this show.
No. Coach, you got time for another segment with us?
You bet.
We'll take a quick break and talk about the upcoming season and the ladies that are coming back and what you got looking forward to.
Camp 2.
And camp as well as far as Lady Griz basketball goes. And we'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Tonight, Gurns and Bedard.
Sports Talk Tonight, live from the KGVO studio.
Missoula Sports.
We're back. Sports Talk Tonight with Gurns and Bedard, brought to you in part by Bell McCall Ford. Great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Your low-cost auto dealer for over 100 years, downtown Hamilton, Montana. And by Jerry Wessel's Tire Center, locally owned Les Schwab Tire Center provides the best tire value promise. Visit them online at jerrywesselstirecenter.com. Well, Coach, coming into the season, why don't you give us a brief kind of synopsis, who we lost and who we can expect to kind of, or who you're expecting to kind of take the reins and lead this team coming into this season?
Yeah, well, I'm sure every year I would say the same thing. It's going to be very interesting because you're always losing some people, and new people are going to be stepping up into roles. But Macaulay Feller and Hannah Dorn and Haley Vining were our seniors. 2 of them started. Hannah played a ton of minutes, started some games. So we're losing some awfully good players as experienced players, and that's always you always think, how can we replace them? We return an inside line that ended up being a great one. Alicia Sims just kept coming on and on and on. Of course, Kaylee Valley had an absolutely great year. Rachel Staudiker played quite a few minutes, will be back. Jace Henderson, she'll be back on the inside and didn't get that much time last year, but she'll be vying there. And Sierra returns at the point guard, and I'm just about named everybody that returns. We have 5 freshmen coming in, and we had 3 girls redshirted last year, so 8 of our 15 will have never been on the floor in a Lady Griz uniform in an actual game. So that's what's going to make it interesting. I feel good about it. Mackenzie Johnston and Henny Hearn and one of our inside kids, Taylor Goligoski, were redshirted. Mm-hmm. And then we have 5 freshmen, and there's a good chance that they're going to be in the mix, some of them. Who is? You never know that till find out. But Emma Stockholm, 6'2" kid out of Chelan, Washington, who got MVP of their All-Star game in the state of Washington. Maddie Schoenig, a 5'9" guard out of Sandpoint, got the Idaho MVP in their All-Star game, so that was good. Good players. And we took Gabby Harrington, a Boise 5'9" guard. And then 2 Montana kids, Haley Nicholson from Malta, who was MVP of the state tournament, another Malta kid, 6 foot gal, and Nora Click from Great Falls. They ended up losing the state championship by 1 this year. She's a 6 foot gal. That's both Haley and her are versatile type players. So, once we'll get practice going, and like I said, the interesting thing will be lots of kids vying for roles, lots of kids driving time, and I couldn't really predict. We do have some givens coming back, and we need to keep those givens healthy.
Is it in the water up there in Malta, or what's the deal?
It's been a little while.
Ever since I've been here, in about 1992, we've had
7. It's more than any other high school. They had a really good team. They won the state again last year. Even the years we weren't taking any kids from there, they were competing for state championships. Right. They've had good coaching, and you obviously grow up in Malta wanting to be a Met and playing ball, but it is kind of remarkable that that many kids from a Class B school played Division I, and I think 2 or 3 of them have been conference MVP, all conference for sure. I mean, they've been very good players, and they're great kids, and obviously basketball is important to them. So.
Is it? It must be a fairly difficult transition, but yeah, you just pointed out you're going to have, my goodness, so many underclassmen, or so many freshmen. What are you looking for when those kids get out during practice that you kind of hope that when it's a big transition, right? Whether it's Class B or Class AA, it's a huge transition. Are there things that you're kind of watching for that you tell yourself, well, yeah, all right. It isn't just that we need them; we want them. We're not really looking to redshirt this player, but I'm sure it's a different skill set for every player. But there's got to be certain things that you kind of
there is, but every situation's different too. I mean, we don't. Sometimes kids get redshirted here, and like I tell them, we never make that decision. It's up to them. Nobody ever has to redshirt. Some kids would give an opportunity to redshirt. For instance, if you're a really good freshman and Kaylee Valley's a senior and you're in her position, you're thinking, there's probably not going to be that many minutes there. Why would we want to? You want to play a couple minutes, or your 5th year play more. So every situation is different. We can't, and we need positions and players. We can't give everybody an opportunity to redshirt. I mean, that's just a real fluid deal, and we never decide if we're going to give somebody an opportunity to redshirt till right before the first game. Everybody's battling, everybody's doing, and then maybe we say, well, if you'd like to, you can, but it's not. Some kids don't really like the idea of redshirting. Well, you don't have to redshirt. You compete. Yeah. The thing of it is, you can only put so many kids on the floor at the same time, 5 of them, and so that stuff all comes into play.
You're going to be young, obviously. The Big Sky Conference, was it a young league this past season, or are a lot of the premier players returning? Where are we at? Your overview of the conference as far as that goes.
I mean, there were some good players that graduated, but lots of good players returning. I think the league, it's going to be, and I would say, I don't know, at least the last 3 or 4 years, it's been a legitimately where 1 through 8, you wouldn't surprise if they won the thing. I mean, I couldn't predict. I mean, last year when they had to do the picking, I said to the assistants, throw that in a hat and pull them out. Because everybody was pretty good. Well, Idaho State was the 9 seed, and they got in the championship at the tournament because we now have a whole different tournament format as well. But there were so many close games. I mean, we lost 2 games at the buzzer and another one really close, and I'm sure we won a couple like that too. And everybody did that. I mean, the Cats ended up winning it, and they had a whole bunch of close wins. And Idaho State had a whole bunch of close losses. Well, they were good enough. They came along. So it's going to be one of those deals where it doesn't make a huge amount of difference now whether you win that league. You still can't host it,
right,
though you could get a first-round bye.
Yeah.
The thing is to be obviously at your best at tournament time, which you always want to be anyway, and maybe find a hot hand or two at the tournament.
Sports Talk Tonight, listening to that live. Coach Robin Selvig of the Lady Griz basketball head coach is with us in studio. And, Coach, you're entering your 38th season. 845 wins. Question, what's your favorite win? No. Is there? Do you have a favorite win?
I really I can't hardly remember anything anymore. So they're all good, but there's some exciting ones, but I couldn't really separate that out.
Yeah, well, averaging over 22 wins a season, which is flat out incredible.
Oh yeah,
I think if you were to set a benchmark to be a successful coach, I think you'd want to average 20. You'd probably want to average 30, but 20 is a good number for me, and been doing it for a long time. And I tell you what, man, we are lucky here in the state of Montana and Missoula to have you. To be honest with you,
fan expectations aren't bad enough around here. Now you want the guy to win 30 every year.
Well.
20,
we almost did one year, but we
did.
lost at Bozeman. And we came back and won 29 that year. We were 29-2.
Right.
But well, thank you for the kind words. But it's been fun, and boy, and you start seeing all the good players, the former ones around here, and the new ones coming. You can get an understanding. While we won a lot of games, there's been a lot of good ones.
Yeah, it is pretty fun to be at that arena, and you look around and you see
it's a family.
And some of that family is his former players. I mean, there's always a handful.
Oh, they're
of your
great.
former players.
I've got
and they stay involved.
They do, and they're good friends of mine, and they have as much to do with when you start talking about all the wins we had and stuff. I'm just one of those factors, and a whole bunch of them are those factors, and some were those players, and now my assistants, and
right.
There's been a lot of things that have made this program successful, starting with good players. That's kind of what does it, and that's just kind of they fed off that, and we had a good team last year. I really liked that team. I wish we could have won a couple more. I wish we were a little beat up at the end, but everybody can say that. I mean, we had that long trip and had some colds, and Macaulay had done her ankle that sack game. Those are the things, Coach, you always go back, and there really is you want to have some good fortune in a lot of ways because it makes a big difference. I mean, we probably won the conference a year or two when we had a basket roll in that might not have, and maybe we wouldn't have hosted then, and maybe it wouldn't have turned out that way. You want to feel like you're doing a good job, but you also got to realize there's a little lady luck involved.
Well, before we let you go, we've got to talk about your Lady Griz basketball camp, so let you promote that a little bit. I know some of that has passed, but what do we got coming up?
Yeah, we had our team camp last weekend, had 30 teams in. It was fun. Got to see lots of kids and had a nice tournament. But our biggest camp starts next Monday. You can still get into it, and that's, I think we go 5th grade up to seniors. You can stay on campus, though we should have got that in already. But we'll have 170 maybe kids, 180 around there, anywhere between that range. We'll spend a lot of the Lady Griz are working it, some former Lady Griz. We just basically play games, teach fundamentals, and they get in a good day's basketball from 8 in the morning till 9 at night. And we tuck them in the dorm and get them to do it again. So
and you break that down age-wise, what, a couple of grades per group?
Yeah, usually we're split in. The younger grades are in a league that plays each other, and then the 8th grade and freshmen usually, and then the older kids. Yeah. And so we do that, and we move them around a little bit. But, yeah, they're playing against their own, and we have all kinds of competitions and awards in the different things, and it's really a lot of fun. They're long, hard days, and one thing I like about it is a lot of the Lady Griz work the camp. They can work it, and they learn what spending a 12-hour day is, and they learn what officiating a game is, and they learn what coaching a game is, and maybe they'll quit criticizing me once they say, "Oh, yeah. That's not that easy." But
yeah, that's not going to happen.
That hasn't worked. It's only been 30-some years where I was hoping that would work. Anyway, that's a good thing. And then we have a day camp in the middle of July we go down to kindergarten up to 7th graders, and that's a fun one. And we have Lady Griz working that camp, and that's just a 3-hour session for 4 days. Not quite as extensive thing, but that's always a lot of fun. That's really fun. I mean, it's like you're watching, the coach comes in holding their hands, walking in there. Those little kids, it's so cute. And it's cute when you see them dribbling a basketball when the basketball's about as big as them, too. But that's all fun stuff.
Who do we contact there to sign up for those?
You call the phone. Trish Deuce is Sonia's taking the calls on day camp. How about 243-5779, that's Trish's number, or Julie, who will can push it forward at 2-4-3, 5-3-3-4, and she can hit it to whichever coaches. Shannon kind of took charge of the team camp, and Trish does the overnight, and Sonia's kind of in charge of the day camp. So they're all doing a good job.
Cool. So still some room, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy summer, but I will also look forward to October 25th, the Maroon and Silver scrimmage, just like I do every year. So.
Yep. Nope. It's always exciting to start over and new kids, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Just when you think you got to figure it out, huh?
Yeah. I'm still working on that thing, but it's like I said, it's sure been fun, and we do have a great group of ladies. They are fun to be around, fun to coach, and we didn't win every game last year, but it was never for lack of effort, and they're a pretty good crew.
I think I will be entering my 19th year working for you where it's at.
Yep,
I believe.
And we are excited to have you doing it, too. That's been pretty good. Consummate professional down there. We have there's a lot of things around our program that make it really good, and it isn't just the players and the coaches. I'll guarantee you that. There's a lot of things we're proud of all the support that we have and how everything's done the way it should be done.
Yeah, amazing fan base, just so loyal and just so they take ownership of that program, which probably annoys you from time to time. But they
no, it's a pretty special thing.
Their hearts are in the right place.
I always say, I mean, when the next lady get around there talking, they'll have a couple things that were great about playing here. And it's always going to be running out on that court in front of that crowd is usually number one. The M is usually number two. They always talk about that, not in the same positive way. But there's certain experiences you share, as an athlete, Gurnsey, that everybody get together and some of that tough things you go through is
winter
fun
conditioning
too.
Was my favorite.
There you go.
Oh, the memories, Gurns.
Oh boy.
Well, yeah. And of course, going to summer school.
Yes.
Not voluntarily.
That's for another day.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, Coach, hey, we'll let you go. Go enjoy the rest of your summer. Have fun at the camps, and we'll see you come fall.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks.
Good job.
Head Coach Robin Selvig of the Lady Griz. When we come back, stupid athlete and steal of the week on Sports Talk Tonight.
Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk Tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We're back. Sports Talk Tonight. We are brought to you in part by CHS Mountain West Co-op, Western Montana's source for Cynic's fuel, feed, fertilizer, clothing, and tack for over 75 years. I'd like to thank Coach Robin Selvig, head coach of the Lady Griz basketball team, for joining us in studio. He was brought to you in part by Parkside Credit Union. And once again, another fabulous guest.
It is so fun to be associated with that program.
I tell you.
I've been doing public address that long, and it is just it's a treat. It's a delightful family atmosphere, and just a privilege to get to do that every night. It's time for Scott Gurnsey's Steal of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. The Steal of the Week brought to you by True North Steel. They are Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products. Gurns.
Denny, it's an easy one as far as I'm concerned. NBA Finals, Cleveland Cavaliers down 3-1 to the Golden State Warriors, the defending world champion Golden State Warriors. Never before has a team in the NBA Finals come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the whole thing. But what do you know? LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers steal this title from the Golden State Warriors. They win 3 in a row and come back to win the NBA championship.
Yep. And nothing fluky about it.
Nope.
I mean, they earned every one of those games.
They did. They did. That's my steal of the week.
Brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products.
Now, to get to the stupid part of this show.
Yes.
Some of you might think it already happened, but it hasn't. This is instead of the stupid athlete of the week, it's the stupid sports organization of the week, and that would be the PGA Tour. If you were watching, it's one of the majors, right? It's Dustin Johnson. He's had heartbreak. He's blown it a few times in majors. He's up there amongst the leaders. He's winning the thing. He's on the 5th hole, and he goes to address his golf ball. He takes a few practice swings. He sets the putter down to the side of the ball, takes a practice swing, picks it back up, goes behind the ball, and before he can place the putter to the ground, the ball moves. It moves backwards just a smidge, and he goes, oh, hang on, wait a second. He calls over the rules guy. The rules guy comes over, and Dustin tells him what he has done. And the rules guy asks him if he thought that he caused the ball to move, and Dustin says no. I mean, blah, blah, blah. The guy says, okay, no penalty. You may hit the ball. He putts it, makes it. A couple of holes later, the PGA comes over to him and starts questioning him and asking him more questions and basically inform him that at the end of his round, they are going to review the tape to determine if they're going to assess him a penalty stroke or not. So you've got a guy who's on about the 8th hole, and I believe he's winning by 2 strokes at the time. But wait a minute, is he winning by 2 or is he winning by 1? Which completely changes how you play the game of golf, whether you lay up, whether you go for it, whether you do all. And do you tell the other players? Is it their right to know? Now, and all they could do was talk about this for seriously about 2.5 hours. It basically wrecked almost the entire showing of the tournament. All of Ricky Fowler, Rory McIlroy, Justin Spieth. You should have seen the text messages they were sending in, bashing the PGA Tour. I mean, it was ridiculous. Dustin Johnson ends up winning by 4 strokes, and they say, yes, you are assessed a penalty. So they give him the penalty stroke, and he wins by 3. I would have been really interested to see if he would have won by 1 or he had been tied, what they would have ruled.
And why did they make that determination? Because he was stepping too near the ball,
well, they
said it wasn't wind or weather related.
They said that he was the cause of having that ball move. So it's basically counted as a stroke. Now, normally you would have to, if you had done that and caught it at the time, you would have to take that ball and place it back where it was. I mean, the thing moved like it's almost indecipherable. Mm-hmm. But since the official said to play it where it lies, he played it. He was penalized the 1 stroke for moving the ball, and that was that. But I can't imagine what was going through the guy's head. I mean, it changes everything. It changes everything.
Yeah.
And that's all they talked about the whole time.
And as you point out, he won it by 4 strokes, so it seems to me that since it had absolutely no bearing on the outcome of the tournament, it seems rather silly.
Well,
but if it had an impact, to your point, wow.
Yeah.
What would have happened?
Well, and now you set a precedent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
So, anyways, that was my stupid sports organization of the week.
Okay. All right.
Well, Denny?
Going on at the Missoula Osprey Baseball Stadium, Ogren Park, Allegiance Field, we have the celebrity game tonight, the celebrity meet and greet. It's a fundraiser for the Missoula Sports Commission, and our general manager, our buddy Scott Richmond, was nice enough to go over there. It started, I think gates opened at 6, and so they've been saying, but he was over there earlier than that and got a few interviews, just a quick visit or two.
Cool.
And I think we have time to drop in at least 1 or 2 of those. We shall start with Gurnsey's Choice, Colt Anderson, Brock Coyle, Chase Reynolds. The wheel is spinning now.
Oh, let's go with Colt.
You got it.
All right, so I'm here with Colt Anderson, Griz alumni. Tell us what coming home means for you.
Oh, well, I was just talking to a few of my old teammates here, and we were just saying, there's no place like home. The Rocky Mountain air, the people, they're great, so friendly, and it's just awesome to be here.
Fantastic. And what have you been doing while you've been in Missoula?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I just got here a couple hours ago, and you drive through great spot, best burgers in the whole United States, and good beer too.
All right, so he likes the Missoula Club and other places. And what's your? I'm not even going to ask you the next question. Tell us a little bit about Up Top.
Oh, Up Top is the clothing company my brother and I and a couple friends started here back in 2010. We're just all about enjoying the moment and celebrating any moment you take part in, and we're all about fashion and comfort and looking good. So that's what it's about, and men's, women's, children's. So it's cool.
Very cool. We saw Colt and his family over at Headwars this past Saturday and Friday, and Up Top was the brand to beat.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun over there at Country Jam. A lot of guys were enjoying the moment and having a lot of fun. So it's a great crowd and great energy.
All right. Scott Richmond catching up with Colt Anderson and Brock Coyle.
How happy are you being in Seattle?
I love it there. It's awesome.
What's your favorite thing about Seattle?
Besides the fans, it's just the weather and the location being the Pacific Northwest.
Beautiful. What do you love about coming home to Missoula?
Well, I just love Montana. Coming back here, being around the community, the weather, the mountains, so it's great.
And where do you like to chill out when you're in Missoula? What place is your favorite, like, bar or nightclub? Don't be shy, Brock.
The Mo Club, of course.
Anywhere else?
The Mo Club.
The Mo Club, okay. All right. What does Missoula sports mean to you as both a player and now a professional?
I mean, it's huge. I think just sports in general, but it brings the community together. It gives kids a platform to accomplish their dreams. So the city of Missoula is a great place with a lot of potential. So sports helps with all that.
Former Griz, Brock Coyle, and Colt Anderson at the celebrity sports meet and greet event going on at Ogren Park Allegiance Field tonight.
I sense a theme, Denny, and it revolves around the Mo Club. And little birdie told me that one of those guys is buying the Mo Club. So
what?
I won't say who, but
yeah.
Yeah. So
are you just spreading nasty rumors?
No, never.
Up our ratings or no?
Only thing I spread is peanut butter, Denny.
Okay.
Hey, couple of congratulations out there. Charity Atterbury named the new academic advisor for the football team over there at University of Montana.
That's a guest we got to get on Sports Talk tonight.
Yep, she comes by way of Missouri and Chicago. Congratulations. And she's been here for a while in other capacities, right. But congratulations. New Hellgate Knight football coach, Mick Morris from Conrad, and then Nampa, Idaho, has brought back, has resurrected a couple of programs that are kind of down. And if you haven't noticed,
got to be pulling for them.
Hellgate's
got to be rooting for those guys.
Down. Get to Access Fitness, get your butt in shape. I need to practice what I preach, apparently, Denny.
Off to Las Vegas. Greg Sundberg your old buddy Greg Sundberg will be in here with you next week.
I wanted people to listen next week, Denny. Why'd you tell them that?
Ow.
Hey, have a good time.
Thank you.
Sports Talk tonight. Gurnsey and Bedard, we're out of here.